Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 601, Garp and Ace. One Piece Events. Damn, Jim. When Sengoku heard that Jim still refused to comply with their request to participate in the war, he couldn't help but curse. Reporting, Fleet Admiral. Regarding the Sabaody Archipelago incident, Admiral Kizaru captured 500 pirates. Currently, we are unable to complete the paperwork to send them to Impel Down. Before the soldier could finish his report, Sengoku shouted, "That's just busy work. If it doesn't have anything to do with Whitebeard, I don't want to hear it." Furthermore, the world noble Saint Roseward, the soldier tried again, but was interrupted once more. "Leave that to the admirals. What happened to Garp?" "Vice Admiral Garp was heading to Impel Down," the soldier answered. "What does he intend to do in this situation?" "He's too damn free-spirited," shouted Sengoku. Fleet Admiral Sengoku. "I have urgent news. Whitebeard is on the move." "Ha! Ha!" At that moment, another soldier entered, speaking eagerly. "Here he comes." Sengoku quickly forgot about Garp. "Are there any reports from the patrol boats?" "Connect them here, I want to ask them myself." "No, all of the ships monitoring Whitebeard's flagship, the Moby Dick. 23 ships in all. We suddenly lost contact with all of them a short while ago," the soldier said, sweating. "What?" exclaimed Sengoku. "It appears that the other pirate crews in the New World have been taking suspicious actions as well. But we have no idea of the scope of their plans. We have no information at all. We've completely lost sight of them. New patrol ships are preparing to depart. They got US." Sengoku slammed the table in anger. "They already made their move. We don't even know where they'll attack while Ace is being held there. Alert Impel Down that they might be a target as well." Sengoku ordered. "Yes, sir." In the depths of the sea, Fishman Island. In the eyes of Fisher Tiger and the rest of the Fishman race, including their king, King Neptune, the dark image of Jim, whom Sengoku cursed angrily, was reflected. Who had been sent to Impel Down to soften his stance regarding their request for him to participate in the war. This Jim? Fisher Tiger's pupils widened when this familiar name appeared. "He's my counterpart for sure." The current Jim has no difficulty recognizing his manga counterpart, even if he hasn't appeared officially yet. "So, Jim, you'll become a Shichibukai too? That's astonishing, a Shichibukai from our Fishman Island." King Neptune couldn't suppress the rising excitement within him. Even the most optimistic hadn't expected their race to have a representative in one of the three major forces in the sea. "I'm curious to know the reason behind your refusal to participate in the war to the extent that they allowed you to be arrested, Jim." Susan spoke at this moment. Jim looked at his dark reflection in the manga for some time before sighing. "I also want to know the reason." Back on the Moby Dick, the loud laughter of the Whitebeard resounded at this moment. "Garararara! Sengoku, oh, Sengoku, if I didn't want you to track my location, do you think that's possible?" Whitebeard was delighted to see the gloomy expression on Sengoku's face after learning that they had completely lost their traces. "The moment of entering the war will be extremely amazing on our part, I'm sure of that. Oyaji always loves surprising the opponent in such conditions." Marco mocked the Marines. He was extremely excited to see the upcoming war events. After all, his crew in the manga had already made their move. This means nothing is coming except war. A widespread war against the Marines. The Whitebeard fleet, led by the Whitebeard pirates, against the Marines with all their might. Just imagining it made them feel shivers running down their spines. Of course, for the Whitebeard pirates and the rest of the scattered fleet in the New World, it was pure excitement. Not a hint of fear or tension. The same goes for the rest of the readers worldwide. Everyone became fully aware of the upcoming war. The current events were paving the way for what is called the Summit War. Great Prison Impel Down. This is it, Vice Admiral Garp. Be careful. Yeah. Garp responded indifferently as he approached the cell that confined someone. Man, you look terrible. Garp said after a bloody and shackled figure came into view. In reality, he wasn't just shackled but also bound by massive Kairoseki chains. Garp's eyes darkened upon seeing this scene. You still breathing? Ace? Ha! Ha! Ace opened his eyes and struggled to lift his head after hearing the familiar voice. Gramps. Fusha Town. Ace. Garp felt conflicting emotions when he saw how Ace looked inside the cell. This was the first time the current state of Ace had been revealed since his losing battle against Blackbeard. It could be said that his condition boded ill, to say the least. What a pitiful state. Crocodile whispered. Kuma didn't say anything. Flameboy. Ivankov held back tears. These wounds must have been left by Teach. Dragon said. He really called me Gramps. If he considers me his grandfather, that means I consider him my grandson too. Even if he's the son of my enemy, I can't allow the death of my grandson. Family is more important than anything to me. I don't know how this happened. Garp's frustration was mounting. Little did he know that worse was yet to come. Back on Airbaz Island, the Pirate King's territory, the Oro Jackson still stood quietly. My child. The tears that Rouge had held back for years started to fall uncontrollably. Ace, who hadn't appeared since his battle with Blackbeard, finally showed up, and in a miserable state. Ace is strong, don't cry, my dear. Look into his eyes, they are full of life. Roger embraced his wife and comforted her with a gentle smile on his face. Even if they were just events drawn on paper, Ace was their child whom they acknowledged deep in their hearts even before he came into this world. His bright smile, the soft freckles on his face resembled those of his mother, the way he ate and slept during that time, his love for goodness, his small mischievous acts like eating without paying and escaping. Also, his bright mood and his great desire for freedom, and all the good qualities he showed in his first appearance in the Alabasta Arc. All of this deeply shaped the image of the son they wanted. Seeing this son they wanted, in this condition made them deeply sad in the depths of their hearts. They didn't want to see him suffer even if it was only in the manga. Chapter 602, Nami's Destination, Weatheria. One Piece Events. Turning back the clock a bit. On a certain island, there's a giant paw print in the ground. Oi! Oi oi oi, the annoying voice of an old man began. Oi 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 oi, girl. Girl who came flying from the sky. You talk too much. What is it? Nami seemed annoyed as she hugged her knees, tears still staining her cheeks. Looks like you've calmed down. You won't go crazy anymore? The forehead of the old man with the long white beard was swollen. It was evident he had been struck by Nami. Now presenting, these tightly tied wind knots. If you undo one, it brings a gentle breeze. Nami felt a light breeze. The old man continued, if you undo a second, it brings a strong wind. Wah! Nami felt strong winds sweeping over her. And if you undo a third, it brings a squall. Kya! This time, the stormy winds made Nami sway with the gusts. What are you doing? Nami activated the madness mode, causing the protrusions on the old man's head to multiply. I thought it would cheer you up, he said. Well, it did, thank you. Anyway, I want to go home. Where is this? Finally, Nami asked the question she wanted an answer to after facing all the previous challenges. This is a small sky island, Weatheria. This is a country where we study the weather, the old man said with a smile. Of Sky Island. Nami's shocked voice spread through the sky of the appearing Sky Island. It looked like a floating island from a fairy tale. Amazon lily. Nami. A deep smile appeared on Belmir's face when she saw Nami again. Ha ha ha. This old man is very nice. Unfortunately, Nami's mood is extremely explosive. Moreover, he does things that make Nami even crazier. Ha ha ha. The rest of the store goddesses had almost finished most of the work, so they were completely empty to enjoy the remaining volume that was about to be completed. Weatheria. Another sky island. What a magical place! Alvia's eyes sparkled brightly as she studied the shape of the island she had never heard of before. A country specializing in studying the weather. I've heard about it, Shaki said, lighting another cigarette. But it's the first time I've seen it. It's really something. So, the purpose of sending Nami to this place is to allow her to study the weather more professionally? Bartholomew Kuma is very precise. Shaki added. Does this apply to the rest of the crew? Have they been sent to suitable places for training? Otoheim nodded after hearing that, still amazed by Jim and, before that, Fisher Tiger. I wonder how Nami will perform in this place from now on. And will she spend a long time here? Bella wondered. Rob said that the crew members will be trained for a long time, so maybe. Gloriosa said with displeasure. We may not see them gathering again anytime soon. O'Hara. Weatheria. I know about this place. Clover shouted. You only know about it, but I work with them, those helpless wizards. I know each one of them. That bastard bothering Nami is Herdas. Vegapunk's long tongue constantly twisted as he said all that. Seeing someone he knew in the manga gave it a shocking impression. Do you know him? Saul and the others were surprised. Yes, I know him. He's a weather scientist. An expert in climatology. He can be considered the founder of Weatheria. When he said that, Clover nodded, having a similar impression. Deep down, he appreciated this weather scientist. After all, his experiences were not limited to Sky Islands alone. He and the other scientists often provided assistance to the Blue Sea residents. Yahohoho. So Nami ended up in such an interesting place. I hope he's not a perverted old man. Is there anyone more perverted than you perverted skeleton? Rosinante shouted in anger. Yahohoho. This man. I know him, he's Burkan, just like me, he doesn't have wings. Enel was lost in his memories as he said that. Sky Pia. Mont Blanc Cricket looked at the lively crowd of sky inhabitants, including Burkan among them, as Weatheria appeared. Interesting, so this country is the surviving part of Burka in the manga. Cricket heard from these shocked Burkan that Weatheria was founded decades ago by a group of enthusiastic scientists who left Burka. After that, they traveled above the world and studied the climate conditions here and there everywhere in the world. They contributed a lot to the field of weather. I wonder how they will react when they return to Burka and discover their appearance in the manga. After all, since the appearance of One Piece manga, they have constantly returned there or come to Skypiea as well, huh? Aren't you the person who just appeared in the manga? Cricket's eyes widened just now after seeing a familiar old man sitting next to him. He had the same shocked expression, his eyes widened, and mucus came out of his nose as he stammered, Oi, 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 oi. Unbelievable. Exactly like his appearance in the manga, he had a long white beard and long straight hair of the same color falling on his back. He wore a pointed blue hat that matched his wizard-like cloak. He also wore blue trousers, and a blue umbrella lay beside him. Except that he seemed a bit younger, there was no difference between him and what appeared in the manga. Oh, what a surprise! When I sat next to you, I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to get an autograph from a famous character, Mont Blanc Cricket, the descendant of the legend Mont Blanc Norland. Who would have expected that by the end of the volume, I would become a famous character myself, huh? So, the person who will train Nami in the manga will be me. Well, there is no weather scientist qualified to train such a talented girl in navigation other than me. I am the most worthy weather scientist. Hearing his voice caught the attention of all the neighboring sky inhabitants. Oi, 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 calm down, I'll sign for each one of you. Don't choke me. Chapter 603, Frankie's Destination, Karakuri Island. One Piece Events. Grand Line, Winter Island. Oh wah! At this moment, a scream echoed. It was a strange robotic dog, launching explosive projectiles from its mouth at a specific target, the source of the scream. Wait, stop. Toroimo. The cyborg dog was halted by someone upon seeing Frankie. I'm sorry, are you all right? He thought that you were prey. Two individuals in winter clothing approached Frankie, and one of them apologized. Yeah, I'm fine. Frankie hadn't really suffered any harm. You whoa. How are you fine? Damn, this is a mess. How far did I fly? Ah? So cold. Ah. Ah. Frankie. Frankie's sneeze was truly peculiar. That won't do, wearing just your underwear in this snow. Were you robbed? The man with the cyborg dog assumed Frankie had been robbed and stripped of everything, even his clothes. Put on this loincloth. The old man beside him produced a loincloth and offered it to Frankie. A loincloth. Don't screw around. I don't need it. If I put something like that on, they'll call me a pervert. Auuu. Frankie began his usual madness. Follow my lead. Your but musical note to the right. Your right hand on your waist, thrust out your left hand. Slide and left. And do it again. Auuu. 1 2 1 2. Bring both hands down below. And screw. Super. I'm still cold. Where am I? Exclaimed Frankie. Despite his fantastic and famous dance, he still felt the extreme cold. This is Karakuri Island, the birthplace of geniuses. You're in the future country Barajimoa. The person saying this was the old man. Where the hell is that? Frankie was shocked. In Ohara, Vegapunk was still in deep shock after the appearance of a familiar figure in the so-called Sky Island weatheria. But when Frankie appeared, or more specifically, the place Frankie was sent to, Vegapunk fell into absolute silence. His old memories when he was young came flooding back, one after another. Karakuri. Barajimoa. Vegapunk muttered in astonishment and distraction. Clover, Brooke, and the others who noticed Vegapunk's deviation looked at him. Is the place where Frankie was sent familiar to you in any way? At that moment, Professor Clover thought the question wouldn't hurt. Vegapunk nodded upon hearing that, thinking for a moment before saying, that place is my birthplace and hometown. The genius's hometown. This news was truly shocking for Clover and the others who didn't expect it. So, that's how it is. It's not strange to feel nostalgic for the past. Yo ho ho. I didn't expect Kuma to send Frankie to explore my laboratory. Well, the best way to make the cyborg evolve is to present him to me. It's impossible to send him to Egghead in that situation, so the best possible place is Karakuri or Punk Hazard. Somehow, I expected that. Vegapunk sighed as he said this. I look forward to seeing what Frankie will discover in my past legacy. How will he progress afterward, and what will his impression be of me after getting to know? I remember leaving a lot of valuable things behind. For a cyborg like him, they are priceless. I heard that Karakuri Island is protected by the world government and surrounded by a strong marine base. The climate there is extremely harsh, so even for Navy soldiers, they don't want to enter the winter island, thinking that no one in their right mind would want to live in that kingdom of cold and harsh winter. The person who said this was the former celestial dragon, Homing. That seems logical, considering that even the super Dance couldn't warm up Frankie in that environment, yahohoho. Brooke was enjoying Frankie's predicament. I wonder how the 5 elders will express themselves after the revelation of my birthplace and the legacy I left behind in Karakuri becomes public. Perhaps many madmen who want to get rich will go there. Vegapunk said with a kind of sarcasm and concern. This was noticed by Brooke, who is a member of the Rob's Guild. No need to worry. Since Rob-san is ready to reveal that, it means he is ready to protect the people of Karakuri as well. Fishman Island. Super. At this moment, the little Frankie was thoroughly enjoying the moment of his appearance. Look, even the cyborg dog can't resist the charm of dancing to my tunes. That's because he's as perverted as you. Iceberg retorted sarcastically as usual. What's wrong with being perverted? It's a way of life, ouch. That hurts, you cursed old hag. Stop it, you child. Kokoro grabbed Frankie by the ear and pulled him forcefully. Since you're a child now, it's my duty to adjust your deviant values a bit. I won't allow you to roam around in underwear even when you become an adult. Seeing this, Tom shook his head in helplessness and gave a powerless smile. As Frankie's teacher, he was more skilled in teaching him shipbuilding than disciplining his morals and behaviors. Well, since he was confident in Frankie's kind nature, he thought anything else wouldn't harm. Karakuri Island. Isn't this Winter Island part of the Grand Line Railroad expansion plan? At this moment, Tom remembered something. After all, he and a few others were the ones who managed to see the plans for the railroads that would connect some islands of the Grand Line in the first phase of the project. Since it's the place where Frankie's counterpart was sent, it means it definitely has a secret. A secret that will strengthen Frankie's skills as a shipbuilder and as a cyborg. Isn't that right? Frankie's eyes gleamed after hearing that. He became more eager to see the rest of his journey in this cold place. Perhaps when he returns to his crew, he will be much stronger than his current version. He will also have many surprises that will leave Usopp, Chopper, and Luffy in awe. Maybe he can create something impressive like a real giant robot, something that won't require Robin to merge with them to form it. Anyway, for him, it seems that Karakuri Island will be the main focus in the coming days. Well, maybe he'll focus on the rest of the crew members' places. It seems Sanji is next. At this moment, Iceberg spoke, and in the next moment, his expression froze, almost having a heart attack. What a poor man. Sanji. This is really hell. The back of young Iceberg was soaked in sweat. Chapter 604, Sanji's Destination, Momoro Island. The Hell Island. Ohara, Palace of Art. Rob entered his palace with a smile on his face, occasionally scanning the corridors to avoid Sanji's fans among his servants. Well, they have the right to be angry. I was angry too at that time and kept sending angry messages to Oda with stickers on them. It's not fair. Why should Sanji suffer this terrifying fate even though he didn't do anything to deserve it? Over time, I began to accept it. Well, I once said that karma must come back to bite the sinner's tail. There's no denying that Sanji is a real pervert. Despite being a principled pervert, he won't refuse Nami and Robin if they offer themselves to him. Rob thought internally, trying to suppress his laughter. Despite his anger at that time, he still remembered how he laughed so hard that his mouth twisted, and his stomach ached. In his life, he laughed only once to that extent. It was when Sanji was running from a group of wild monsters. He laughed and laughed until he was almost choked to death. Just thinking about that scene again makes me want to laugh again. Oh. Sora stood in front of him with a slightly angry expression. Behind her, Toki shook her head with a helpless smile. My dears. Were you waiting for me? Explain. What's the matter with this chapter? Why does Sanji have to go to this place out of all the islands in the world? Oh. I think you should ask Bartholomew Kuma, my dear. But you're the author. Even if I am. There are things I can't control. I'm just a manga artist, just an intermediate mangaka. Sora didn't understand a word of what he said. Ahem. Well, this experience doesn't necessarily have to be extremely bad. Hardships make men. I'm confident that Sanji and the manga will come out of this experience stronger and more manly. Rob paused for a moment before continuing. And more desirous of women, too. Sora's eyelashes trembled as she looked between the manga page and her embarrassed husband. Behind her, Toki couldn't keep a calm demeanor any longer and burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. She laughed as if there were no tomorrow. One Piece events. Grand Line, the Island of Dreams, Momwaro Island. In the background, an island of pink heart-shaped mountain emerged, adorned with a few small mountains resembling multiple hearts surrounding the largest peak. Behind it, a vibrant rainbow arched. This is the other famous island of women. On the island, even the animals undergo transformation. The animals, the plants, everything in sight is a single color, pink. Shadows of strange humanoid beings appeared running on the shore, and the sunset looked as if it were in the shape of a pink heart. All the people who have gathered on this island have a maiden's heart. Kaya Whiteheart Kaya, wait for me, Whiteheart. Oh no, wait Whiteheart. From behind, it seemed like a group of beauties were chasing Sanji for his affection. Like hell I will. Strangely, Sanji was completely resistant and ran as if escaping a deathly pursuit. Dear Nami and Robin. Apparently, this was Sanji's internal monologue at that moment. Are the two of you well, wherever you are? You're like us. You must be, right. The beauties continued their pursuit. Shut up. Stop following me. I told you, I'm not like that. Sanji continued to vehemently refuse and escaped for his life. Welcome to Kamabaka Kingdom. Behind Sanji were bizarrely shaped real monsters eager to welcome him into their embrace. You woo. Tears and mucus continued to flow from Sanji's eyes and nose. The expression on his face showed pure horror as if he were experiencing an unusual nightmare. Right now, I am experiencing hell. East Blue, Baratai Restaurant. Author's note: Baratai Restaurant was recently opened just 3 months ago in the story timeline. After Red Leg Zeph retired from piracy, he decided to open the restaurant immediately to capitalize on the manga's publicity. With the support of the Goa Kingdom, and even the world government cancelled his bounty at the request of a celestial dragon who's a Sanji's fan. Refer to chapter 458 for a reminder. Oh my god. Hell. There is a real hell on earth. Patty almost wet his pants in fear when he saw the monstrous shapes chasing Sanji. Who are these? Oh Kama. By hell, what did Sanji do to deserve this? Bartholomew Kuma treats Sanji as an enemy. Karne trembled in fear at this moment after putting himself in the same position as Sanji. Zeph's forehead continued to furrow after seeing where Sanji was sent. He knew this place. Kamabaka Kingdom. Kingdom of the Okama. The hell. Sanji will live in real hell from now on. Zeph said, mourning Sanji's fate in his heart. Ha ha ha. Fu 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 fu. Ha ha ha. I'll die. I can't bear this. Ha ha ha. Quickly. Ha ha ha. Look at the global forum. Ha ha ha. All readers praising the accuracy of Sanji's current state. Oh my god. Ha ha ha. Look at the expression on his face. Ha ha ha. Like he's in a nightmare. Ha ha ha. If I were in the same situation as him, I'd jump into the sea. I'd rather be eaten by a sea king than become like them. Neither the restaurant visitors nor the cooks could control the severe laughter fit that overtook them after reading the last part of this chapter. Fusha Town. It's Sanji boy. He's been sent to my Kamabaka Kingdom. I'm amazed. Mfu fu fu fu. Dragon, Crocodile, and Garp were annoyed by Iva's sudden commotion. But when they saw the scene of Sanji being chased by Okamas and Momwaro Island in the background, they shook their heads in regret and sighed for the unfortunate fate that befell Sanji. After all, they knew the uniqueness of that Okama kingdom. Even animals and plants were not spared from the pink color. Even Kuma, who was usually silent, shook his head with a kind of regret. Future Kuma disapproved of this disgraceful act against Sanji, the poor man. I look forward to seeing how my delightful and hot meeting with Sanji boy will be. Iva gave a sparkling wink that made Crocodile feel nauseous. Pa! Why? Why can this Okama join the revolutionary army? What kind of revolution is this hellish thing you want to do? Crocodile pointed his finger at Dragon and asked in a fit of anger. Dragon silently looked at Crocodile without saying anything. Chapter 605, Usopp's Destination, the Boyne Archipelago. One Piece Events. These islands, which bloom in the ocean like flowers, are the Boyne Archipelago in the Grand Line. Help me. At this moment, Usopp's screams can be heard from a distance. In the background, a series of closely spaced islands resembling blooming flowers emerge in the middle of the ocean. Take this. Jaya-ia. Usopp's horror at this moment is caused by a massive black insect with serrated fangs, eliminated by a man with a black mask resembling a beetle. Are you gonna eat this, En? It turns out that the mysterious man finishes his words with "en" a lot. As if I would! Exclaimed Usopp. But thanks for saving me, even though I don't know who you are. Usopp thanked profusely. My name is Heracles En. The man replied. Wow, that's a cool name. Usopp praised. Is that so, En? I'm Usopp, nice to meet you. See, can you really eat this? I've never seen a fruit like this. Usopp scrutinized a strange fruit with a magnifying glass. It's all right, Usopp En. And my name is Heracles En. The man added. Right. That's cool, Usopp replied. Why don't I? Try licking it first. At this moment, Usopp didn't notice the strange plant that targeted him from behind, eager to swallow him. Usopp En. Heracles attacked the man-eating plant without hesitation. Was this thing trying to eat me? Usopp's legs became weak. Of course. It is a man-eating plant after all, En, Heracles calmly replied. Man-eating? Usopp exclaimed in horror. This is the Forest of Thieves, Green Stone. If you don't wish to lose your things or your life, you should take care, En, Heracles explained. Syrup Town. It seems my son is lucky this time. Usopp sighed slightly after seeing the place his son was sent to in the manga. In his view, since he wasn't sent to a noisy place where muscular women dominated and ruled by a Shichibukai as a terrifying empress, or to a strange island inhabited by creatures with female hearts but bodies of curly-haired baboons, everything else was welcome. Even if it's an island with man-eating plants? Beckman asked. Yes, even if it's an island with man-eating plants. Usopp replied convincingly. At least there's a strong man protecting my son's back. This man called Heracles seems powerful. I've heard about Boyne Archipelago, those who go in are lost, and those who come out are lucky. Well, let's see which one your son will be, ha. Beckman laughed when he saw a certain scene in the chapter. His legs became soft after realizing that death was just a few centimeters behind him. Usopp is funny as usual, ha. I wonder what Heracles' background is. He seems suspicious. Could he be a famous pirate in retirement? His mask is also strange. Why wear a mask in an environment inhabited only by him, a few animals, and predatory plants? As usual, Beck began to analyze the chapter from its deeper points. That's what he usually does, which is why it was easy for him to predict some of the upcoming events. Now he had placed Heracles in the suspicious category, characters with a story. After all, it's strange and intriguing to see a character wearing a mask in One Piece manga. This means that there is definitely a story behind it. Perhaps when the name of the one with the burn mark is revealed in the distant future, Beckman will directly connect it to Heracles, just as Rob did after suspecting him. After fulfilling customers' orders, Banshina found some time to follow the events of the manga. Finally, the information she was eagerly waiting for appeared. Usopp, it's great that you're okay. At that moment, Banshina breathed a sigh of relief. What she feared the most was the unknown, that her son would be sent to a dangerous and complicated place by Bartholomew Kuma without a protective charm. Well, although Boyne Archipelago seems a bit dangerous for Usopp, Mr. Heracles looks like his protective charm. Banshina, who saw things from a completely different perspective than Beckman and her husband, smiled. It seems that Robin was also sent to a winter island like Frankie. In the second half of the chapter, Banshina finally noticed the place where another crew member was sent with mild interest. On the other hand, Yasop removed his gaze from his wife, who seemed to have just seen where Usopp was sent, and sighed silently. Well, it seems she realized that Usopp's life is not really threatened at the moment. Yasop said. The purpose of sending the crew members to different islands is to train them for what's coming, not to eliminate them. Well, except for Sanji, whose real reason for sending him to that hellish island I doubt. Beckman confirmed, although he still hoped that Sanji was sent there for training too and not just to change his sexual preferences. I don't want to see Sanji revealing his deviant tendencies towards Zoro or his captain, that would be disgusting. After hearing that, Yasop commented with a disgusted expression. No need dash before Beckman could finish what he wanted to say, he was completely drawn to the continuous alarm sound from his phone, which also came from Yasop's phone. First degree alert, the headquarters is under attack by foreign forces of S-level strength. The eyes of both Beckman and Yasop widened when they saw this notification for the first time. A first degree alert means that Hunter Island is facing forces of the same level as the legendary hunters. On the enemy side, the admirals are forces of S-level strength. Beckman and Yasop immediately stood up and adjusted their positions, quickly heading towards the personal section where the instant teleportation room was located. As elite A-rank hunters, their presence in the headquarters for protection is urgent. They quickly disappeared into the corridor, and even Benshina didn't notice their disappearance until later. Ohara. Darish Shishi. Usopp is really funny even in crises. He quickly overcame the previous crisis. No, he's smart, so when he saw that he was okay and just flew to another place, he quickly understood that his companions were in the same situation. Hearing this, Clover nodded, and so did Sol, Homing, and the rest. At this moment, a notification reached Sol's phone, and he quickly stood up with a stiff expression on his face. On the other side, the three young men, Doflamingo, Rosinante, and Enel, also received similar notifications since they are also A-rank hunters. Fufufu, whoever dares to poke a wasp nest, he must be in pain now from the continuous stings that won't end until he dies. Doflamingo mocked. Not far from them, Mihawk and Isho stood silently, heading towards the inner part of the art store just like the A-rank hunters who received notifications. Unlike A-rank hunters, Mihawk and Isho are S-rank hunters. True legendary hunters. When they arrive at the headquarters, the infiltrator causing chaos must stay there forever. Chapter 606, Brook's Destination, Nakamura Island. One Piece Events. Grand Line, Nakamura Island, the country of poverty, Herahetania. In the background, a destroyed village emerged under a thunderstorm. Currently, rain saturated with lightning fell intermittently, creating a terrifying atmosphere suitable for the black magic rituals practiced by the inhabitants of this land at present. This is a demon. Inside a specific house, men dressed in black formed a circle around a strange summoning ritual. We really did summon one with black magic. It looks so fearsome. It's really not of this world. Our wish has been granted. We might have our revenge. Revenge on the long-armed tribe that stole everything from us. Demon King, Lord Satan. If you fulfill our wish, all of us are prepared to offer you our souls. We do not have anything left. Please strike them with your hammer of blood. Amidst the summoning symbol, the dust finally scattered, revealing a skeletal structure with an afro. Just how far did I fly? I must return. To where everyone else is, said Brook. Wait, you can't return to the underworld, Lord Satan. Shouted the tribe leader in fear upon hearing that. Suddenly an idea struck him. Is our tribute lacking? Do you need a sacrifice? Blood. Brook looked sideways to see a beautiful lady dressed in black. Excuse me, could you show me your panties? Brook was more natural than ever. Panties. Quickly, show him some panties, exclaimed the tribe leader enthusiastically. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. Oh my god. Ja ha 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 ha. Ah, my stomach. Ka ha ha. What's with this situation? I'll die laughing. Wah ha 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 ha. Excuse me, could you show me your panties? Ha ha ha. Brook is the best. Ha ha ha. By hell. This is the first time Brooke's audacious request wasn't rejected. Inside the art store, Brooke felt his face warming as he heard readers' comments about his manga counterpart. He felt extremely embarrassed. Ha ha ha. If Saul were still here, he'd burst into laughter until death. Unfortunately, he left quickly. Ha ha. Brooks N seems to really enjoy seeing women's panties. Ha ha. What an amazing coincidence. Your arrival coincided with their summoning of a demon from the underworld. No one is more qualified than you to be a demon. What's their problem with the Long-Arm tribe? Did they drive them to use black magic to summon a demon? Both Vegapunk and Clover, along with Homing, laughed heartily at Brooke's scene, just like other readers who were still laughing at it. Why didn't I go with Sulsan and the others? Yah-ho ho ho. I must be cursed. Brooke was just a B-rank hunter, so he hadn't been summoned before like Saul and the others who were at least A-rank hunters. Yah-ho ho ho. What a fantastic coincidence. Demon King? That title suits me perfectly. I love it. The Demon King loves to see panties. If Muzan hears about this, he'll come specifically to look for you, ha ha ha. Unusually, Clover killed the joke. But for Brooke, it was a killer joke the moment he heard the name Muzan. That person was a real Demon King. Amazon Lily. What do we have here? Shaki, Alvia, and Bella looked at each other with annoyance. Only someone with this much audacity? Amusing, did the world government go mad? After laughing at Brooke's scene for a while, Shaki put the manga aside and walked towards the inner part of the store. You guys take care of the store, we'll be back soon. Alvia looked at the page where Robin appeared hesitantly before closing the manga and following Belmir and Shaki. Her role was to protect her husband's belongings. Now that she had gained strength, she would make sure that her husband's enemies paid the price. Before they disappeared into the personal section, the laughter of the women still echoed behind them. I feel pity for the poor girl who will have to show her panties to Brooke, all because of a big misunderstanding. Humph. I'll make sure to teach him a harsh lesson when I come back. I don't want him to think he saw panties again. Belmir was angry for being forced to put the manga aside to deal with the enemies. That's why she thought of punishing Brooke. Brooke, who was reading the manga peacefully, felt a sudden chill at this moment. Is it Muzan? No, it can't be. There's no existence of such a terrifying demon king except in his world. Grand Line, Long Ring Long Land Island. This. Unbelievable. It's Nakamura Island. These rogues from the Kingdom of Poverty are secretly summoning demons to deal with our tribe. Inside the relatively empty art store Longland, both Scratchman Apu and his father cursed the rogues from Herahetania country who were practicing black magic in the manga. They knew this island in the kingdom, after all, it was close to their homeland. I don't recall our tribe attacking this island. It seems like it will happen in the future. Their country seemed destroyed shortly before Brooke arrived by chance. This means that the Long-Arm tribe will destroy the kingdom of Herahetania after about 19 years. Why does it seem like we are the villains in this, Dad? Apu asked his father. Well, my son, the victor in war is often seen as evil to the loser. Chapter 607, Robin's Destination, Tequila Wolf. Hunter's Island. Some moments before sending notifications of the invasion of the main headquarters by foreign forces to the mobile phones of the hunters, a pool of liquid darkness crept through the cracks in the ground toward the giant concrete building, which served as the central prison, without being detected by anyone. The sun was dim in this part of the world, unlike the other half where the sun still shone brightly. This aided Moria in smoothly infiltrating without being noticed by the guards scattered everywhere. However, if the guards didn't notice him, it didn't mean he could escape the notice of the small-sized surveillance cameras scattered everywhere. Unlike the Den Den Mushi's surveillance, it was easy to ignore the presence of modern advanced surveillance cameras that were only in Rob's control in this world. This was overlooked by the world government, the Marines, and Moria, who believed he had not been discovered. Since Moria set foot on Hunter's Island, he had already been discovered. Under Rob's orders, he was allowed access to the central prison and entered. Kiashishishi. At this moment, Moria chuckled internally, though he had no eyes to see in the form of the liquid shadow. Instead, he relied on observation haki to monitor his paths. He could easily reach the cells of the central prison. He managed to avoid all the guards and sneak into the prison indeed. From here, he began searching for Hogback's cell. The central prison, my ass. Impel down is still more terrifying. Feels like I'm sneaking into my own backyard, kishishishishi. These were Moria's thoughts while searching for Hogback's cell and ignoring the rest that imprisoned many pirates and criminals. At this moment, a black shadow passed by a specific cell. The shadow instinctively stopped when it felt a dangerous presence inside the cell. Who's there? Moria realized as the imprisoned man's form appeared, it was the Golden Lion. This crazy Golden Lion. Kishishishi. Should I set him free, I wonder? Causing chaos would be a good option if something happened, and our presence was exposed. Well, I'll think about it after finding Hogback. Moria continued searching for Hogback's cell. At this moment, Shiki opened his eyes, which he had closed for a long time. It seemed like the madness that once filled him had subsided. Sneaking in? Jihaha. At this moment, Shiki's attention was drawn to a certain book beside his daily meal. One Piece manga. Shiki got so excited that he quickly forgot about Moria. After a continuous search, Moria finally pinpointed Hogback's location. The moment he easily entered Hogback's cell as a shadow, alarms sounded. Extra gates fell on the prison cells, and Moria, along with Hogback, was imprisoned inside. For the absurdity. We've been exposed. The color drained from Moria's face. Kuzan and Borsellino were quickly brought out from his special shadow pocket. Arara, it seems we've been exposed as expected, Akiji said with a cold breeze. Annoying. I was comfortably asleep inside. Kizaru sighed in annoyance before turning into light and heavily damaging the cell gates. Moria looked at Hogback and quickly said, "We don't have time to explain anything now. From now on, don't leave my side. We will definitely escape from here." Ohara. Well, it seems that Moria's situation is not urgent. They won't be able to escape from the prison even if they have 3 of the Gorosei with them. I'll finish this matter that I postponed for too long before going to teach Moria, Kuzan, and Kizaru a harsh lesson. It seems that a new chapter of the Egghead arc has just been released. Well, I'll leave reading the chapters for another time tonight. It's not urgent either. After finishing the chat with his pregnant wives, Sora and Toki, Rob prioritized. He had previously sent his children to Fishman Island at Hancock's request, telling them that he would bring them back later. Rob looked at the manga book that people in art stores were currently reading. The thing Rob had always wanted to do and had been postponing for a long time was related to this chapter. I postponed it because the time wasn't right yet. Now that this bridge has finally appeared in the manga, I can move to alleviate their suffering. The world nobles can't fool people by creating the impossible forever. One Piece events. East Blue, the country on a bridge, Tequila Wolf. In the background, an extremely massive bridge appeared over the sea, with snow falling heavily, indicating the cold weather. At this moment, Robin appeared, seemingly in good condition. This is a country of laborers. Someone was speaking to Robin, who listened silently while observing many people working hard in this harsh weather under the strict supervision of supervisors. Pull. You. The workers here are either criminals gathered from every country or citizens of countries that refuse to join the world government. Apparently, one of the supervisors was informing Robin about the current situation of this place. Egg. Meanwhile, another worker fell dead from exhaustion outside. You useless piece of dash. Robin saw through the window how another supervisor was whipping the man who had just fallen dead from exhaustion. Well, they really are slaves, the speaking supervisor continued. What are you building? At this moment, Robin asked. A bridge. A gigantic bridge that connects 2 islands. But we're a long way from completion. In the background, a colossal bridge was visible in the construction phase, seemingly not close to completion anytime soon. People keep on collapsing. So we keep on taking in new workers. After all, this bridge has been under construction for 700 years. The supervisor announced, shocking Robin. 700 years. Whatever for? Asked Robin. You have no need to know that. I don't know where you came from. But now that you're a laborer, all you need to worry about is building that bridge. Apparently, Robin was already in a predicament. Fusha Town. This cursed bridge. Garp felt discomfort when he saw Tequila Wolf in the manga. It's this impossible project. Dragon said angrily. He was reminded of one of the heinous crimes committed and still being committed by the world government against the people. What's the deal with this bridge? Do they want to connect two islands with each other? Has this colossal project been ongoing for 700 years now? It started just 100 years after the current world government rose to power. This is madness. Ivankov's eyes widened as he saw this. He couldn't help but shudder as he recalled his past as a slave in God Valley. This is horrifying. No one felt the tremor that came from Kuma, a member of the Buccaneers. The tremor came from his genes. The world government loved using his race members as slaves in creating such impossible projects. Many of them died in similar impossible projects. The purpose was clear, never to end. The core purpose was to weaken resistance. This bridge will never reach its destination. After some silence, Kuma said emotionlessly. That's true. Garp responded with regret. As a former elite of the Marines, he knew many horrifying truths hidden by the world nobles. Their brutal methods made his scalp numb when he thought about them at the moment he wanted to sleep. Why did he refuse promotion to become an admiral all the time? To avoid killing a celestial dragon in a fit of rage. Since that day in God Valley, he had a hidden desire to kill one of them. At this moment, the light dimmed inside the art store, and a familiar screen appeared. It was the live broadcast screen he had seen before when Eni's lobby was destroyed. This time it was showing Rob standing in the air, directly above a specific bridge. It was the bridge that had just appeared in the manga. Chapter 608, another stunning live broadcast. North Blue, Flevens State. People are deprived of their freedom just because their kings refused or couldn't join the world government? That's despicable. No, it surpasses all reasonable bounds. After learning about the situation regarding Tequila Wolf from the manga, Trafalgar D. Chris felt profound sadness. As the leader of a country and a member of the D clan, he could sense the familiar scent of corruption and evil from this story, familiar because its source was the world government. Do you think this project will ever be completed? Like the Sea Train project that seemed promising? Mary asked her husband. The way Robin was restrained, the look in her eyes, her reaction upon hearing the truth that the project has been ongoing for over 700 years. It's a clear indication of the reality, although it should be shrouded in mystery. Mary didn't understand what her husband meant. When she tried to ask again, the atmosphere in the Flevens sky suddenly changed as a projection screen from the art store appeared. Sitting in the upper courtyard of their palace, overlooking the direction of the art store, they quickly noticed it. After all, the projection screen of the art store only drops when there's a specific anime show, which definitely wasn't the time for it. However, something similar had happened before, a live broadcast that shocked the world. Now, the same thing was happening again. The viewers were shocked to see Rob standing in the air as if standing on the ground, looking with mysterious eyes down to the sea below. Snow was falling at a slow pace, making the air colder. A bridge appeared on the sea, extending from a distant place. It seemed to be heading further, but at this slow pace, it wouldn't reach its destination even after another 1,000 years. It was like placing a snail on a highway between continents and asking it to cover the distance at its slow pace. This Tequila Wolf Bridge. Chris stood in shock, staring at the live broadcast screen with wide eyes and tense nerves. It's Rob Sama. What does he intend to do? The same went for Mary, the pregnant woman in her 4th month. Look, there are people working with drugged expressions and harsh supervisors whipping them to work. This is the same scene that just appeared in the manga. These people have no life, even if they are criminals. This punishment is worse than death for them. Chris almost lost his composure when he saw the scenes displayed on the art store's screen. From time to time, a series of destructive effects appeared under the huge bridge that stretched for thousands of kilometers. It seems that this country is advancing along the way as the bridge is being built. Maragoa. The 5 elders stood staring at the art store's projection screen in awe. What does this bastard want to do here? Isn't it obvious? But how did he find out? What should we do now? How do we stop him from interfering in our affairs repeatedly? The 5 elders were somewhat helpless when they saw Rob personally going to deal with their last card in the East Blue. Yes, for the 5 elders, the 700-year-old incomplete bridge was just one card among many others that had been hidden for 800 years. Losing it would hurt them, of course, but it wouldn't hurt them much. Why does he move every time the matter has a direct connection to his daughter? Previously in Eni's lobby, he moved because the entire arc revolved around his daughter. This time, just because his daughter was sent to Tequila Wolf by Kuma, he moved again. But what exactly does he plan to do? Saint Warcury was more annoyed because this bridge was under his judicial responsibility. Usually, those condemned were sent there as laborers by him. If this impossible-to-complete bridge disappeared, it meant that one of his means of punishment would be reduced. That made him very angry. Since Rob appeared on the screen in their field of vision, Imu's eyes had been on him. She stared at his face with increasing interest. He has become more handsome, Fufu. She was no more or less interested in what he wanted to do with this bridge. In the East Blue, specifically southeast of Frost Island, from here, the construction of the Bridge of Salvation, on which the country of laborers, Tequila Wolf, is located, started. It was named the Bridge of Salvation by a certain celestial dragon 700 years ago, but later it turned out to be the Bridge of Despair instead. After all, it wasn't built just of rocks, wood, and steel, but also of the bones of millions of humans over the past hundreds of years. It was like a mass grave where the condemned were thrown in to drain all their value before using their bones as the foundation for the bridge and their flesh as food for the wandering wolves that the Frost Kingdom had rid itself of on this long bridge. At this moment, the faces of the laborers only showed numbness while working hard under the whips of the harsh supervisors. They were unaware of the existence of the One Piece manga, let alone enjoying it. Their only concern was building the bridge. They had no means to reach or leave this place other than walking on the snow along thousands of kilometers to return to Frost Island from where the construction of the bridge began. They were isolated from the world. After all, it wasn't even an island that a Loge pose referred to. Its existence wasn't even on official maps, obscured by the world government. Information about this place was so scarce that it was almost non-existent. That's why when the East Blue residents learned about Tequila Wolf, they were profoundly shocked because they had no idea of this place in their sea in the first place. Rob descended, even stopping on the bridge, and the art store's projection screen reflected that as viewers held their breath. Rob calmly walked among the laborers. "You there? Why aren't you working? Why are you wandering in peace?" When one of the supervisors tried to use his whip to hit Rob and force him to return to work, he froze in place and his eyes turned white before falling to the ground unconscious. Rob didn't even look at the man and continued walking through the laborers who made way for him without awareness. Rob looked around, identifying laborers, supervisors, and government spies among the laborers after a while. At that moment, he snapped his fingers, and a miracle happened. The laborers began transforming into giants. Enormous giants. Seeing this incomprehensible scene, the supervisors fell to their knees, unable to grasp the situation. "You've been building this bridge for too long. Now your only task is to destroy it." Upon hearing that, the giant laborers looked at the man who was floating in the air again. He radiated a submissive aura that made them instinctively understand that everything happening now was because of this man. "Thank you for giving us strength. Thank you for giving us salvation. We will destroy it to the last rock. Can we kill them too?" The number of laborers was in the thousands, so one can imagine the scene, countless giants thanking Rob and sincerely declaring their desire to destroy the bridge they had been building for a very long time. This scene made the viewers' scalps numb. Chapter 609, Chopper's Destination, the Torino Kingdom. At this moment, the bridge was trembling and crumbling already, despite the fact that the giant laborers had not done anything yet. Whoa! Their terrifying roar echoed in the sky, causing the supervisors' faces to pale, unsure if this was a dream or reality. Immediately, they began destroying everything. The bridge, built for 700 years, was easily demolished in a short period and unexpected turn of events. The scene of the rage of the giant laborers reflected in Rob's indifferent eyes. He could easily destroy the bridge himself, but that held no meaning. The true value of the bridge lay in its destruction by those who contributed to its construction. In Maragoa, no one expected such a scene, not even the 5 elders. They stood frozen with ugly expressions as they witnessed this undesirable show. The same applied to the celestial dragons who knew about the bridge, and the holy knights ordered multiple times to bring slaves for its construction, including their leader, Garling. In Flevens, both Chris and his wife stood wide-eyed, revering Rob even more deeply in their hearts. The way he used the people who contributed to building the bridge to destroy it was the most ingenious method, one that no one could have thought of. In Fusha, Garp's eyes widened for a moment, then his expression changed to a smile, followed by laughter. "Boahahaha. I haven't been surprised like this in a long time. Just how many devil fruits does this man possess? Did he awaken them all? Why didn't he explode and die due to the large number of devil fruits he consumed? I no longer believe in that theory of him eating the imaginary fruit. No matter how powerful it is, it have a limit. I now believe he ate at least 4 devil fruits. Goro Goro no Mi, Pasa Pasa no Mi, Bari Bari no Mi, and Deka Deka no Mi. The question that arises is, how did he eat all these devil fruits without dying? After witnessing all of Rob's abilities, including lightning, paper, and later the barrier, Garp recognized a new power, closely resembling the huge fruit that grants the ability to gigantify. If Garp guessed it right, it meant that higher-ups in the government and the Navy likely speculated the same. The ability to turn thousands of people into giants is a power that transcends all common sense and cannot be simply attributed to a devil fruit ability. I bet there's another hidden secret within that terrifying power. At that moment, Dragon spoke. I'm more interested in why the Sky Sword decided to destroy the bridge, said Crocodile. Isn't that clear? Rob has always been known for liberating slaves. I didn't tell you earlier, but the world government has been covering up a major incident for several months. It's the same as what Fisher Tiger did in the manga, but in a cleaner way. Upon hearing Garp's words, Dragon's eyes gleamed, indicating that his father had finally decided to share the big news. Crocodile, Kuma, and Ivan all looked at Garp, eager to know what he described as a major incident. All the slaves in Maragoa disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Now Maragoa is without any slaves. The celestial dragons are very angry, but they are temporarily under the control of the holy knights who were forced to come out publicly after the incident. Upon hearing this, they were all greatly shocked. One Piece events. South Blue. Uaea. In the background, massive predatory birds surrounded the terrified Chopper. M. Monster birds. I have to escape. Ha! But I cannot move my body. It seems that after transforming into his monster form, Chopper temporarily lost the ability to move. At that moment, the enormous bird pushed him away with its beak, away from the nest. Jaya, please stop. Please. Stop. Uaea. Chopper was thrown down from a great height, and in the background, a massive tree that dominated the island appeared. Fortunately, Chopper's fall was cushioned by the tree branches, absorbing the shock and saving him from harm. Help, said Chopper. A plump man found him and brought him to his tribe. A tanuki fell out of the nest, he said. Oh, let's make a hot pot, replied his comrade. Stop. I'm a reindeer. Chopper hurried to correct the strangers, forgetting that they had planned to eat him.
Then it'll be a reindeer hot pot. Ha! Did it just talk? It said that this is a treasure island.
The country where the birds control the people, the Torino Kingdom.
Drum Kingdom. After overcoming the shock caused by Rob's extensive display, Hirolik and Kureha's attention was drawn back to the manga. Oh, finally, we'll know where Chopper was sent.
Hirolik was excited at this moment. Sigh, it seems that the side effects of his powerful monster transformation are strong this time.
Kureha sighed with regret.
These birds are familiar.
Humph. Why do they treat my little kid so cruelly? If he could move, he would surely have dealt with you.
Hirolik was angered by the way the birds tossed Chopper aside as if he were a bag.
Torino Kingdom? Is this the island in South Blue where the primitive Torino people master magnificent medical techniques?
Kureha felt surprised. After all, she had visited this place under Rob's guidance and did not expect Chopper to end up here as well. I remember that Miss Don Quixote Matri told me once that after Rob saved them, he sent her to Torino Kingdom for treatment.
Kureha recalled this and informed Hirolik. That means they have an art store on their lands? Why don't we pay a visit? Hirolik asked curiously. South Blue, the Torino Kingdom. The massive tree representing the island pierced through the clouds.
The enormous birds that once controlled this place 4 years ago were now considerably obedient. After all, they did not want to see themselves turned into roasted meat on the senior Rob's plate along with his wives. After Rob taught the first generation of the birds a lesson, they understood that their lives from that point forward would depend on Rob's mood. So, they agreed to be obedient and coexist with the people of the Torino Kingdom. The indigenous inhabitants of the Torino Kingdom became more civilized after integrating with the world. They no longer walked around naked but wore full clothes. They took ships to work abroad, bringing a certain level of civilization to this place. The Torino Kingdom became highly renowned for its specialization in medicine, with thousands of students coming here annually, and patients from almost everywhere seeking treatment. When their kingdom appeared in the manga, they felt nostalgic for the past.
Tanuki? It's Chopper. Oh, my God. Chopper has arrived at our Torino Kingdom. I can't believe this.
These cursed birds are still arrogant in the manga.
The country where the birds control the people? I never expected to see this.
The leader's clan previously, the current king, expressed his awe and shock.
Chapter 610, Zoro's Destination, Kuraigana Island. One Piece Events. Grand Line, Kuraigana Island.
The ruins of the Shikiro Kingdom. In the background, a dark and gloomy place emerged. The place looked as if it had gone through a grinding war, with building ruins and remnants of swords and weapons scattered everywhere. In the center, a large old castle appeared intact.
It's true that I said that if I were to take a trip I wanted to go somewhere dark and damp.
Near an old castle, swirling with malice. At this moment, Perona appeared once again, the one sent by Kuma earlier, expressing her displeasure.
And that I'd like to pass the days singing cursed songs. But you didn't tell me I wouldn't have any servants. You didn't tell me I wouldn't be able to wake up in a fluffy bed and eat my bagel sandwich and drink warm cocoa. You didn't tell me I wouldn't have my cute stuffed animals. She exclaimed. Geez, where am I? Lord Moria. I want to go back to Thriller Bark.
When Perona cried in sadness, an unusual commotion was heard in the background, as if something had fallen from the sky.
I knew it. I knew someone else would come flying here.
Using her ability, she quickly reached the intended location to see Zoro unconscious amidst a catspaw mark.
He's one of the Straw Hats, she exclaimed. He must have been beaten by Kuma. Wow, he looks like he's about to die. Just look at him.
Horo horo horo. In the morning of the next day, Zoro finally woke up, once again bandaged.
I'm alive. Where am I?
His voice was weak.
If you were to take a trip, where would like to go?
These were the last words he heard from Kuma before he disappeared.
You woo! Zoro yelling in anger.
This frightened the sleeping Perona on the chair.
Kaiawaa. HM?
You're.
Why are you here? Zoro was surprised to see someone he knew beside him. What's wrong with you? Yelling like that all of a sudden. Perona was angry. Where are my swords? Zoro asked. You think I'd give you a weapon, she replied. East Blue, Shimatsuki Town. Finally, dear Zoro appeared once again.
Inside the art store Shimatsuki, Zoro's family gathered after the recovery of Furiko, Zoro's grandmother, who had been ill. Manga Day became more lively for the small family, now joined by a new member, Shomatsuki Yoshimaru, the daimyo of Ringo province. The one speaking was Furiko herself, a big fan of her grandson's character in the manga. Oh, Perona took care of dressing his wounds and nursing him all night? That's truly admirable. She seems very nice. Tara, Zoro's mother, chuckled in approval. It's clear that she feels extreme loneliness in the ruins of this destroyed kingdom where no one lives. Zoro's arrival has made her completely happy, Arashir, Zoro's father, spoke with a smile. What is this place in the first place? Shikiro Kingdom? Koraigana Island? Isn't it in the Grand Line? Arashir had become an official hunter, so his knowledge was not limited to manga alone. Through his training as a hunter, he learned about the world, islands, and kingdoms that he was previously unaware of. Quickly recalling a mission related to this kingdom, one that he had seen, he didn't take the mission because it was above his rank, classified as a B-rank mission. Its content was to get rid of some baboon-like creatures called human drills on the outskirts of the Shikiro kingdom, bothering the farmers and taking away their harvest as soon as it was collected. I know it. It's a kingdom that currently exists and strongly supports our Hunters Guild. It relies on the guild for the development of its kingdom, just like most kingdoms that chose to rely on us instead of the dying world government. How can it be mere ruins in the manga? Arashir wondered with confusion as he saw this in the manga. Ha ha. They must be as shocked as you are right now, the king of Shikiro Kingdom and its people. If One Piece manga says that the future of that kingdom is bleak, it probably means that it's so. Shimatsuki Yoshimaru said with a smile, his face resembling Zoro's, leaving nearby readers puzzled. Anyway, now that they are supporters of Robsan's guild, it means their fate will be much better in the future than it originally was. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Zoro will do from this moment onward. What benefit will he gain in the ruins of an already destroyed kingdom? Can he meet an important character there, someone who considers this island as their headquarters? Ashimara had a hunch. Not far from Ashimaru, the old man Kozaburo looked at him from time to time with an ugly expression. When will this damned kid return to Wano? Does he plan to retire? Father, we have no business in that dash. Before Kushiro could finish his words, his father interrupted him. Shut up. I am the one who named this village, and I am the one who founded it in the first place. Why shouldn't I have a say in it? Well, father, calm down. Ashimaru-sama said he would leave soon if Yuriko-sama refuses to return with him to Wano Kuni. Look at Suna-chan, how considerate she is. Suna-chan. When will Kuina come to this world? In this part of the East Blue Sea, thousands of gigantic creatures could be seen, their bodies submerged in the sea up to their chests. Here, the sea depth did not exceed 100 meters, making it a perfect place to build a bridge despite the shallow waters. This allowed the human giants to erase the existence of the bridge in a state of frenzy. Rob continued to watch this display of destruction with indifferent feelings. When you're done with that, you will automatically return to your normal sizes. Hunters Guild ships will be waiting for you at that time. You can decide what you'll do now that you're free. Those of you who are criminals must follow the legal procedure to regain your freedom. After leaving these words, Rob disappeared from his place as if he were a mirage. With his departure, the live broadcast ended, leaving the world government and the Navy helpless to form appropriate words. All they could think was, fuck. Marine Ford. Pa. This bastard. He did it again.
Does he want to start a world war that brings destruction to the entire world? Doesn't he fear that the world government might desperately take extreme measures against civilians?
Sengoku was angered by the large amount of provocation that Rob had been doing recently against the world government.
What's wrong with Kuzan and Borsellino, any news?
Sighing, he asked about the most important topic of the day besides One Piece manga.
Sir, we received a distress call from Admiral Kizaru. He said the situation is bad.
Hearing that, Sengoku trembled but quickly calmed himself forcefully. Since he said the situation is bad and not desperate, they should be able to retreat safely.
After all, Rob is now in the East Blue, so it will take some time for him to reach, even if it means using the nearest skyport for an instant trip. But we will lose the services of the talented Shichibukai,
Zephyr said regretfully.
Better than losing promising admirals. Inform Borsellino and Kuzan to retreat immediately, said Sengoku.
Mangaka nodded immediately after hearing that and pressed the small Den Den Mushi button in his hand. After doing so, Sengoku's focus returned to the manga.
Shikiro Kingdom's ruins? Ha! Will there be a civil war there in the future?
That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World.
Thanks so much for listening.
As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well.
See you in the next one.